I just tested the unreleased 11Six24 Alpha Pro paddles. Is it a good paddle? And how does it compare to my go-to True foams? Let's find out. Before we jump in, just some quick disclaimers. This is going to be more of a first impression rather than a full review. Since I mained the True foam, most of my comparisons will be based on that. I played with the paddles for 2 sessions about a week apart, so not enough to speak on the long-term durability. Also, it did feel better the second time I played it, so keep break-in time in mind. Since I borrowed the paddles from my friends, I didn't modify the setup. For context, the Pegasus had like 1.75 grams of lead tape around here on each side, and the Hirachi was just stock. I tested the Pegasus more overall, so most of my impressions will be on that, but I'll try to specify which paddle I'm talking about. I don't think there's a release date of the paddles yet, but if you do decide to buy one later, use code PICKLE. Both the Pegasus and the Hirachi were poppier than the True foam. I would rank the poppiness from the Pegasus, then the Hirachi, then the True foam. The Pegasus was noticeably faster in the kitchen, like all my short strokes were just coming off way faster than the True foam. Regarding control and spin, you guys may know, but I'm a topspin heavy player and I like to shape a lot of my shots. And the Pegasus just didn't shape it as well as the True foam in my opinion. It could partially be the setup, but using the same form, my balls were just hitting my normal drives with the True foam while they were just popping up really high with the Pegasus. This could just be a personal thing though, so all I'm trying to say is my normal form didn't work with the Pegasus as well. So if I were to use that, I would probably just have to modify my drive to be more linear and go for more power drives than my topspin drive. I did also notice the difference in dwell time when doing my 2-hand backhand dinks. Using the exact same form, when I was doing my dinks with the Pegasus, the ball seemed to go into the net more versus when using the True foam, they kind of arced over the net. That being said, all my other dinks felt pretty good. I did notice the difference in dwell time when trying to do more topspin shots, but it's probably just the natural trade-off for having more pop. I felt like the sweet spot on both shapes were really good, especially with less weight than I'm used to. On drops and resets, I think it was pretty predictable based on the pop, so that was good. I think if you were to switch to one of these paddles, you just need to drill it a bit just to get used to the pop if you're coming from a less poppy paddle, and then you should be good. The power of these paddles actually kind of surprised me. You would expect pop and power to kind of correlate, but I felt like the Hirachi was more powerful even in stock form. My serves were really good with the Hirachi, better than the True foam and Pegasus. Using the Pegasus, the ball feels like it's coming off faster, but when hitting the ball with the Hirachi, it just feels more powerful and it goes deeper. This is probably a paddle shape difference between an elongated and a standard shape, but it just caught my attention because I didn't feel this difference in the True foam 1 and the True foam 2. The Hirachi just hit like how I would expect it to hit in terms of pop and power, while the Pegasus was a little bit more pop heavy, which I wasn't used to. I also added some reviews from the owners of the paddles just to get some different perspectives.
Hey guys, it's Ariel, and I wanted to do a review of my new Alpha Pro Power from 11Six. I've been playing with it for about a week now, and it's been pretty solid. It's in comparison to the last paddle, which was the Hirachi Power. I think it's very similar in terms of its power, so it still pops off pretty well. But I would say in terms of the control, it has a lot more control. I think with any new paddle, it also just has fresh grit, so that's been super nice. So I do like having a new paddle from that sense. But other than that, it's been super fun to play with and just helps play a more aggressive game, which I feel like is what pickleball has evolved to. So definitely recommend it.
Hey everyone, this is Ariel Pickles manager, Jason. Today we'll be comparing the Pegasus Pro Power to my Carbon True Foam 2. Both wide bodies, but the only difference that I noticed is that, this one still has a lot more power than my True Foam. They market it as a power paddle with a bit more dwell time. And at first I didn't really notice that within my first week of play, but since then, as I got it broken in, it started feeling a bit more softer, and getting that sort of dwell that I wanted. So at the end of the day, I still like my True Foam, but this is still another great paddle which is also a bit more cheaper, so a bit more better in value overall.
All in all, I think the Pegasus is a popular paddle that will excel in the kitchen. I just didn't like the pop to power ratio, at least without switching to it fully and modifying the setup. That being said, although I didn't play with it as much, I really did enjoy the Hirachi more. I normally never play with stock paddles, and I was pleasantly surprised by how well it played stock. Even though I try to gravitate to more standard shaped paddles, I just felt like the Hirachi was a little bit more predictable in how it played, which I enjoyed more. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you want more first impression videos, and if so, which paddles you want to see. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you next time.